All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel again. Thank y'all so much for coming over, man. It's been so much that has come out. Again, I'm just trying to play catch up. Woo-wee. Got this video here from News Nation, all right? Jurors see clips of freak off during Sean Diddy Combs trial. This is like going viral across the internet. A lot of people are saying this because they were saying, you know, before they were shown stills, now it's actually video. It's just crazy, when you're on a trial like this and you have to see this stuff and then, try to get all the information you have gathered since day one. And it's like, you hear about the stuff, you see the pictures, but now they're actually showing video. I'm just hoping that they, hopefully they'll talk about like if they had some type of reaction to it or what, because, yeah. All right, we ain't gonna waste no more time. Let's jump right into it.
It is a cardinal rule of Hollywood and Broadway and podcasts and novels and after-dinner speeches. You want to hold your audience. You follow the dry but necessary stuff with the moment they've all been waiting for, or several moments they've all been waiting for. And that is what happened today in the Diddy trial. Week 6 of testimony. It actually started off a bit of a snore. I was losing consciousness for a bit. It was spreadsheets and flight logs.
A lot of people I see in comments are saying that because a lot of the stuff is repetitive. And they've been, I said, I feel like something big is coming, waiting on that to happen. But yeah, a lot of stuff has been repetitive. I think they're trying to make sure all stories sound the same.
And text chains and bank statements and hotel receipts and I need a snack. And then the airfare receipts and my yawning snapshot. Airfare receipts. Okay, now you got trafficking kind of sometimes, requires some travel over state lines.
Right.
That list turned out to be a virtual paper trail of freak-offs. Freak-offs that had been going on between Diddy and his ex-girlfriends for years. And all completely necessary for the government to make its case for racketeering, maybe while not being exactly gripping, being totally important and critical, and oh my God factor. It did not help that the special agent on the stand didn't even use the term freak-off. She instead called these meetings. Yeah, meetings, government lawyers, eh? But then, boom. Prosecution hit play. They hit play. For the first time in this trial, that poor jury, or maybe they liked it, I don't know, that jury saw actual freak-off videos. I know what you're thinking, and yes, they had already seen some photos, like screenshots of the dirty videos. They had already heard some audio of the freak-offs, but today, each and every juror got a set of headphones.
Okay.
And they were forced to watch 3 clips that rolled on the monitors in front of them. Monitors, by the way, that were not visible to the gallery. Not visible to the people who didn't need to see what was going on those videos. One clip was from October 14th, 2012. The night prosecutors say Sean Combs arranged a freak-off in New York with his girlfriend at the time, Cassie Ventura. And
you see, the same way they just did that, where she's saying that they only played it for the jury eyes and had headphones. I feel like that's the same they should have did for the witnesses that have been trying to hide their identity. Like, you see how easy that was? You know what I mean? But again, I'm just like, it's tough, man, because it's like, how much of it was consensual versus non? That's what the jury is trying to decide here, because although Cassie has testified and even Jane has testified to not wanting to do these things, they also have testified to saying, you know, I enjoyed them. But like the underlining, it's like because they wanted to keep him happy, keep him in a good mood because he can get very violent. That right there is just,
Ex-worker known as the Punisher, real name Sheree Hayes. Both names came up before in this trial, and Hayes was a guest on this very show. The feds played two other Freakoff clips, both from 2014, and while some on the jury were stone-faced, others were definitely not stone-faced, and I'm going to have a lot more on that with some real specific details from somebody who was there and watching that panel of jurors literally. Another memorable name resurfaced.
I'm going to try my best to talk about, because again, if it gets too explicit, I ain't going to be able to upload this video. So I'm going to try my best to put into my own words what she's saying. Just follow me, please. Don't, you know what I mean? Forgive me, but I have to do it that way.
Court today as well. That of Diddy's former longtime right-hand woman, Christina Korum. Look at your monitor. Right beside me there, in between Diddy and me. This is the court photo of Christina Korum. And why is it a photo and not a person? Good question.
Man.
I don't know. I fully expected the government was going to call Christina Korum the chief of staff for Diddy. I fully expected she was going to walk in and maybe get immunity because, dang, if you believe what the government is saying, she is in trouble.
Yes.
But she was not called. So watch this space to see if she's charged. I don't know. But she was at Diddy's side throughout his relationships with both Cassie and the other accuser known only by the name Jane. Today, jurors saw Christina Korum's text messages and heard the audio messages both to and from and among other members of Diddy's alleged enterprise. And in the process, guess what? Yes, we learned another term for Diddy's. Many on the staff called them king nights.
King nights.
We heard them as freak-offs, hotel nights. Now, king nights, as in a night for Diddy the King to have what? A few of his so-called guests. Yes, I said a few. Not just one, not just two, multiple guests. But some of the text messages indicated that things went off the rails and may have become violent. There was an exchange from 2017 that begins with a text from Cassie to...
You know, this...
But some of the text messages indicated that things...
This picture here is very, very, very interesting, man. You got Trump and his wife and Naomi Campbell, Al Sharpton, and Russell Simmons along with Diddy. That right there is crazy. He even got 50 Cent in the back on a picture, and I think he's wearing, I'm not sure, but it looked like he might be wearing the same shirt. I don't know if that's a like vote or die promotion type thing, but that's actually a wild picture right there. If you know, you know. But everything that's been alleged about all of them, that is a wild picture.
Off the rails and may have become violent. There was an exchange from 2017 that begins with a text from Cassie to Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Korum. And Cassie writes, WTF? Korum responds back by asking if she's okay, and Cassie texts, no, but you should talk to him, meaning presumably Diddy. I'm sure you don't want to get involved, Cassie says, but no one deserves being dragged by their hair, end quote. Christina Korum responds, I will try to talk with him when he's up. I could go on, and I'm actually going to go on. But first, a quick word about Diddy's jury, because the judge told us on Friday that he was strongly inclined to give juror number 6 the boot. And this morning, he gave juror number 6 the boot. He said that he believed that number 6 lied about where he really lived on a regular basis, just so that he could for sure get picked to be on this jury. The defense was not happy about this. They complained that losing a black man would make that jury panel less diverse. But the judge said there's still plenty of diversity on that panel, even with the addition of the alternate, who's a white guy. As it stands now, there are 8 men and 4 women, and at least 5 people are of color. And as if that wasn't enough juror drama, a second juror was then held after court for questioning today. All I can tell you is what TMZ is reporting about this one, because the judge wouldn't tell us. TMZ says that the person received, this juror, received a strange text message from an unknown number asking if he was juror number 6, you know, the juror 6 who got bounced. The man reported the contact, as he's supposed to the judge, and it is not clear tonight, at least it's not clear to me, whether any legal harm has been done by this or any action needs to be taken, but everything's going on as planned. I'm joined now by Lauren Conlon, host of the popular true crime podcast, The Outlier, and Pop Crime TV on YouTube. She was in the courtroom for all of this today, the drama and everything. I have to ask you first and foremost about the reaction to the jury panel, Lauren, when they were basically forced to watch me for many minutes upon minutes, right? And I kept wondering, the women versus the men, how did they react? So just take me there and tell me what you saw.
Yes, Ashley, this one female juror who is pretty known to show reactions in the courtroom, she was horrified. She was looking away. I think she was kind of covering her eyes. It was very clear she was not enjoying what she was watching. Now, on the other hand, the men, I gotta say, they did not move, Ashley. Their eyes were locked on the screen, and they were pretty much like, so yeah, there was quite a difference. And I'll also tell you that in the gallery, it was during video 2, we could hear moaning. We weren't quite sure. And then all of a sudden, the reporter next.
It's just crazy. Like when you think about everything he's being charged for, you know, and then you think about like the stuff she's saying right now. You got the woman who's looking away, guys' eyes glued to the screen. They can hear the sounds. It's like they almost becoming a part of the damn freak off at this point. My goodness. I just feel like, I mean, we still got some more time in this video to go, but I just want to know about the damn, like, more of what he's being charged for. Sheesh.
To me, we're kind of elbowing each other. We're kind of all looking around, sharing glances, and we're like, yep, oh my goodness, that's moaning. And I noticed that some of the jurors kind of had their headsets on halfway on their ears, covering them. So maybe the sound was kind of escaping that way, but we definitely heard part of video number 2.
Ew. Well, okay, so, all right, that happened. Yeah. I kind of expected, Lauren, that was going to be the reaction, that the men would be like, yeah, well, so, okay, I've seen this kind of thing before maybe, but the women would be floored, you know, that they were actually forced to do this as part of their you know, public service. Talk to me about how things went after the, you know, they've spent like 6 weeks now with juror number 6, and suddenly he's gone. Were they even told, where's the guy that we've been sitting with, and why is there a new guy? Like, what were the dynamics like when suddenly there's a new person on the panel this far into the case?
Well, it's really interesting because at the end of the day today, Alexandra Shapiro, Diddy's appellate lawyer, I believe, on the defense, she asked the judge, how were the other jurors told about juror 6 leaving, or what were they told? What went on behind closed doors? And the judge actually said, let me find out and I'll get back to you tomorrow. And look, Diddy's team was not happy about losing this juror. That is clear. late Sunday night, June 15th, they submitted a motion saying if this juror is in fact dismissed, we will most likely move for a third mistrial. And I saw Diddy's face as the jury was coming in this morning and juror number 6 was missing or dismissed, not there. He looked down and kind of just shook his head, very disappointed. And the new juror is a 57-year-old accountant, which, let's be honest, accountants are historically good for the prosecution.
Tell me about the boys. You know, every day in court, I've been sort of amazed and skeeved out by the fact that Diddy's sons are in court to hear all of this filthy testimony. I get it. You got to have your family to show support. But as a father, I would never want my children to hear this stuff, yet they've been there every day.
As I said before, they are even alleged of some things. You know, if you go back and look at videos I've covered, it was rumored that they may have been taking part, and something else allegedly happened on a yacht or a boat. Just saying. And, you know, the one had the song. I talk about the dumb song he made where he was dry snitching, talking about the feds raided the house, not knowing we brought the house next door. Yeah. So I expected them to be there, the guys, the boys, but not the girls.
Except for today. They weren't there. Do you have some insight?
Well, I noticed that early on, they did miss a couple days here and there, or they would show up for a half day. So I really didn't think much of it. His sons have been incredibly supportive. I mean, as you know, court can be very tedious, but they have shown up for their father. And you know, we saw these social media posts that they put out on Father's Day, which were very loving. So I don't have any insight as to why they weren't there today, but I'm not looking too much into it.
What were the posts like? What did they say in their Father's Day posts?
Well, Christian Combs had this post of he and his dad, and he was very little. He was maybe 5 or 6 years old. And I actually thought, yep, there it is. I thought it was very heartfelt because he wrote something like, I love you and I miss you and I'll see you at home. Or we're waiting for you at home. And I always think when you take ownership and say, I love you instead of love you, it really indicates that you mean it. And then I believe it was Justin Combs. He put a video up and his was a little more fun, a little more casual, but just really showing that they support their dad and they truly believe that he is coming home.
What else are you supposed to do?
Wow. Well, I saw some of the comments, and it was fascinating. You should go to the comments section, folks. It's entertainment in itself. Hey, Lauren Conlon, thank you so much. Come back again. That's just great insights. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Ashley.
All right, I want to bring in Ashley Wilcott, Court TV anchor, former juvenile court judge in Georgia, and just a super smart person when it comes to everything in American jurisprudence. Okay, other Ashley, judge. I thought when we were getting into receipts and all the dry, boring stuff, I thought, oh, you know, they just got to get this stuff on the record. And then I started to see boxes being checked. And I'm not sure if I'm the only one. I felt like the government was winding up with a bang. Here are the receipts. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong, Ashley. I think that's exactly what they intended, because remember, they put this testimony out to really connect the dots between P. Diddy and his staff, chief of staff. Here you hear about all these things like the setup of the hotel rooms, coordinating travel for Jane and the escort, Paul, procuring, paying for the product, all of the specifics that go right hand in hand, quite frankly, and engaging in a criminal enterprise.
So what about Christina Korum? I thought for sure the feds were going to pressure her and say, either you turn and you testify for us or you're going to go away like Ghislaine Maxwell. That's sort of how I had it in my head. But she's not being called. What are your thoughts?
I don't think you're wrong, Ashley. I think the reality is this. Typically, when we see a witness like that, they're calling her a co-conspirator. And typically, the feds aren't going to refer to her as a co-conspirator unless they're planning to charge or they're continuing to investigate to determine if they should charge her. And I think the reality is this. You know it as well as I do because you're smart, Ashley. If, in fact, they had offered her a deal that she felt like was a good enough deal, I think she would have taken it. So the fact she's not testifying, I think we may see charges against her in the future.
That's what I thought. But I needed to check with someone way better at this than I am because I just thought it doesn't make any sense. The jury's been hearing about this chief of staff nonstop, the linchpin between all these text messages. Okay, real quickly, the freak off videos, these poor jurors, I mean, I guess, had to wait. And I wondered why the government waited till the end instead of starting off that way so that they had that frame of reference every time they heard these women talking about how awful it was.
It's strategic, and I can promise you that they wanted to hit with the biggest impact. And what's the biggest impact? That video of all the testimony, having to watch the freak-offs is going to be the biggest piece of evidence. It's at the end on purpose because all it does is confirm everything they've heard from the witnesses so that the jurors can say, aha, not only do we see it, but everything these witnesses told us is true, they're credible.
You know, Court TV is lucky to have you, Judge Ashley. Thank you so much
you
for being on. Come back again.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe.
I mean, we're not going to be able to probably ever know what, like, exactly was on those tapes. We only can go by what's being testified. I'm just wondering if they're watching these tapes and you can see Cassie and one of the guys, but you could also see Diddy or hearing Diddy giving direction. I'm just wondering if any time in the video did any other women say no or they weren't comfortable doing this, and did he persuade them or told them like keep going, or that's what I want to know, which I feel like we won't. But I feel like if at any point that in those videos they watch where the women look uncomfortable, you know what I mean? But some of the guys that were involved in these videos have talked about how there was role playing involved, how you know, I can't get in too much detail, but I guess it's starting to shift. I feel like I've said that a few times. I know the mule, Diddy's mule, has taken the stand, but we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. I'm just trying to figure out if this, you know, them watching these tapes combined with what they've heard is going to make them, you know, be like, I can see where Diddy is controlling this situation. You know what I mean? That's what I got to see. But hey, we got more to get to. Appreciate you guys coming over and watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.